They say you never know when the last time will be the last time. I learned that lesson in the cruelest way possible, staring at a missed call notification while paramedics tried to revive my mother on her kitchen floor. My name is Alicia, and this is the story of the biggest regret of my life. A story about love, loss, and the phone call that changed everything forever. It was a Tuesday. Nothing special about it. The kind of ordinary day that blends into all the others until something happens that marks it in your memory forever. The sun was shining through my office window, casting familiar shadows across my desk. I remember thinking how beautiful the weather was, how it felt like a perfect spring morning. I was at my desk, buried in spreadsheets and quarterly reports, when my phone buzzed. Mom's smiling face lit up the screen, the photo I'd taken of her last Christmas, flour on her nose from baking her famous sugar cookies. She was laughing in that picture, her eyes crinkled at the corners, her silver hair catching the light from the Christmas tree behind her. I looked at the call. Then at my computer screen. Then back at the call. My boss had just sent me an urgent email. A client was threatening to pull their account if we didn't respond immediately. The presentation was due in an hour. My inbox had 47 unread messages, each one marked as important, each one demanding my immediate attention. I'll call her back in 10 minutes, I told myself. Just need to finish this email. Just need to handle this one thing. Then I'll call her back and we can talk as long as she wants. I declined the call. The screen went dark. Mom's smiling face disappeared. And I turned back to my computer, back to my work, back to the things that seemed so incredibly important in that moment. 10 minutes later, although it might have been 15 or 20, time blurs when you're drowning in deadlines, my phone rang again. This time it wasn't Mom. It was my neighbor, Mrs. Chen, and her voice was shaking so badly I could barely understand her through her thick accent and her tears. Alicia, you need to come home. Right now. It's your mother. The ambulance is here. Please, you need to come now. The drive to my childhood home was the longest 23 minutes of my life. Every red light felt like torture. Every slow driver made me want to scream. Every second stretched into an eternity of growing dread and desperate hope. I kept trying to call Mom's phone, desperate to hear her voice, to have her laugh and tell me it was all a misunderstanding, that Mrs. Chen had overreacted, that everything was fine, that we'd laugh about this later over coffee at her kitchen table. But she never answered. The phone just rang and rang and rang, and then her voicemail picked up, her cheerful voice saying, "Hi, you've reached Laura. I can't come to the phone right now, but leave me a message and I'll call you back as soon as I can. Have a blessed day." I must have called 20 times during that drive. Each time, that same cheerful message. Each time, my panic growing deeper and darker. When I pulled up to the house, the scene looked like something from a nightmare. An ambulance sat in the driveway, lights flashing red and blue against the white siding of the home I'd grown up in. Neighbors stood in clusters on the sidewalk, whispering behind their hands, their faces grave and sympathetic. Mrs. Chen saw me first and rushed over, tears streaming down her weathered face. "I heard a crash," she said, gripping my arms with surprising strength for a woman in her 70s. Through the window. I was watering my garden and I heard this terrible crash. I looked over and I saw her collapse. I saw her fall. I called 911 immediately. I ran over. I tried to help, but she didn't finish. She didn't have to. The look in her eyes said everything. I ran toward the house, my legs shaking, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might explode from my chest. But a paramedic stopped me at the door. He was young, couldn't have been more than 30, with kind eyes that had seen too much death. The look in those eyes told me everything I needed to know before he opened his mouth. "Are you Alicia?" he asked gently. "Laura's daughter?" I couldn't speak. I just nodded. "I'm so sorry," he said, and those 3 words shattered my entire world. "We did everything we could. We tried for 38 minutes. But she was already gone when we arrived. I'm so sorry." The world stopped. Time stopped. My heart stopped. Everything I thought I knew about life and death and loss became real in that single moment. Mom was lying on the kitchen floor, covered with a white sheet. I could see her hand peeking out, the hand that had held mine when I learned to walk, that had braided my hair before school every morning, that had wiped away countless tears when boys broke my heart or friends betrayed me or life just felt too hard. The hand that wore the simple gold ring my father had given her 42 years ago, worn thin from decades of wear but never once removed. "No," I whispered. Then louder, "No. No, 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 no." I collapsed beside her, pulling back the sheet with trembling hands. Her face was peaceful, almost like she was sleeping. Her expression was serene, no pain or fear etched into her features. But her skin was already cooling, turning that waxy color that meant she was truly gone, and I knew that she was gone forever. "A massive heart attack," someone said behind me. One of the paramedics, probably. It was instant. She didn't suffer. She probably felt some discomfort and then just lost consciousness. She wouldn't have been afraid. She wouldn't have been in pain for long. But I was suffering. Oh God, was I suffering? Because all I could think about was that missed call. That stupid, insignificant email that had seemed so important 23 minutes ago. The call I declined because I was too busy, too stressed, too wrapped up in my own little world to spare 5 minutes for the woman who had given me everything, who had given me life itself. What if she'd been feeling sick when she called? What if she'd felt the first warning signs of the heart attack and reached out to me, her only daughter, the person who should have been there for her? What if those were her last conscious moments, trying to reach me, trying to hear my voice one last time? What if I could have told her to call 911? What if I could have rushed over in time? What if I could have saved her? What if? Those 2 words would haunt me for years to come. The funeral was a blur of black clothing and sympathetic faces and casseroles. So many casseroles. People came, said things, hugged me. They told me Mom was in a better place, that she was no longer suffering, that at least it was quick, that God needed another angel in heaven. I nodded and thanked them and accepted their condolences and flowers and food, but I wasn't really there. I was stuck in a loop, replaying that moment over and over and over. Watching my phone buzz. Seeing Mom's face. Seeing that email. Making the choice. Hitting decline. That one decision. That one moment. That one missed call. At night, I couldn't sleep. I'd lie awake in my childhood bedroom. Dad had asked me to stay with him for a while, said the house was too quiet without Mom, staring at the glow-in-the-dark stars Mom had helped me stick to the ceiling when I was 8 years old. We'd spent an entire Saturday afternoon putting them up, standing on a ladder together, her steadying me while I reached up to press each star into place. I'd stare at those stars and replay every conversation I'd ever had with Mom, searching for signs I'd missed, warnings I'd ignored, moments where I should have paid more attention. I tortured myself with memories of times I'd been too busy to visit, too tired to call, too wrapped up in my own life to make time for the woman who had always made time for me. The guilt was suffocating. It sat on my chest like a physical weight, making it hard to breathe, making every moment feel like drowning. I started going through her things, desperate for some connection to her, some way to feel close again. I'd wear her sweaters even though they were too big, just to smell her perfume, that light floral scent she'd worn for as long as I could remember. I'd sit in her favorite chair by the window and try to see the world the way she'd seen it. I'd cook her recipes, measuring out ingredients with her old measuring cups, trying to capture some essence of her in the taste of her famous lasagna or her perfect chocolate chip cookies. That's when I found her journal. Mom had always been a writer. Nothing published, nothing public, just personal thoughts she kept in leather-bound notebooks stacked neatly on her nightstand. She had dozens of them, going back decades. She'd write in them every morning with her coffee, filling pages with her neat, flowing handwriting. I'd never read them before, they'd always felt too private, too sacred, too much like an invasion of her inner world. Even now, with her gone, it felt wrong somehow. But I needed her so badly it hurt. I needed to hear her voice, even if it was only in written words on a page. I opened the most recent journal with trembling hands. The last entry was dated the morning she died. Tuesday, April 23rd. The day everything changed forever. The handwriting was shakier than usual. My heart clenched as I began to read, my tears blurring the words. My chest feels heavy today. Not sure if it's anxiety or something more. Should probably call Dr. Martinez, but I hate being a bother. Doctors are so busy these days, and I'm probably just being paranoid. It's probably just stress or heartburn from those spicy tacos I made last night. Alicia's been so busy with work lately. Haven't talked to her in almost a week. I miss hearing her voice. Miss our long phone calls where we'd lose track of time talking about everything and nothing. She used to call me every day during her lunch break, and we'd chat about the weather or what I was cooking for dinner or the latest episode of whatever show we were both watching. But her new job is so demanding. I'm proud of her, but I miss my baby girl. I think I'll call her this morning. Just to hear her laugh. Just to tell her I love her. Just to feel connected to her for a few minutes. Life is so precious, and I don't tell her enough how proud I am of the woman she's become. How much joy she's brought to my life. How being her mother has been the greatest honor and privilege of my entire existence. Maybe I'll tell her about the surprise I'd been planning. Would probably make her smile. The journal fell from my hands. She'd known something was wrong. She'd felt it. And she'd called me, not to complain, not to burden me with her fears, not to ask for help, but just to hear my voice. To connect with me one last time. To tell me she loved me. And I'd declined the call. I'd sent her to voicemail. I'd chosen an email over her. I'd prioritized work over the woman who had loved me unconditionally from the moment I was born. The grief was bad before. Now it was unbearable. Now it came with a sight of guilt so crushing I could barely function. The grief consumed me for months. I stopped going to work. My boss called a few times, sent some emails, but eventually they stopped. I didn't care. How could I care about spreadsheets and presentations and quarterly reports when Mom was gone? I stopped seeing friends. Sarah, my best friend since college, came by almost daily, bringing food I wouldn't eat and offering comfort I couldn't accept. She'd sit with me in silence, sometimes crying with me, sometimes just holding my hand while I stared at nothing. You couldn't have known, she'd say, her voice gentle but firm. You can't blame yourself for this, Alicia. You had no way of knowing what was going to happen. You didn't ignore her call out of malice or because you didn't care. You were working. You were planning to call her back. This isn't your fault. But it felt like my fault. How could it not be my fault? I stopped living, really. I became a ghost, going through the motions of existence without any real purpose or joy. I'd sit in Mom's kitchen. Dad had moved in with his sister temporarily, said he couldn't bear to be in the house right now, in the exact spot where she'd collapsed, and cry until I had nothing left. The tiles were cold beneath me, and sometimes I'd press my cheek against them and pretend I could still feel her presence somehow. I became obsessed with that missed call. I'd open my phone dozens of times a day and stare at it in my call history. Mom, declined 10:47 a.m. Those 4 pieces of information would haunt me for the rest of my life. Every time I looked at my phone, there it was, a permanent reminder of my failure, my selfishness, my terrible choice. People tried to help. Dad came back eventually and tried to get me to eat, to shower, to engage with the world. Sarah organized an intervention of sorts, bringing over my other friends who all took turns telling me that Mom wouldn't want this, that I was destroying myself, that I needed to get help. My therapist, yes, I finally started seeing one after Sarah practically dragged me to the appointment, said I was experiencing complicated grief mixed with severe guilt and possibly depression. She gave me exercises, coping strategies, ways to reframe the narrative and process the trauma and work through the guilt. None of it helped. The pain was a constant, gnawing thing that lived in my chest where my heart used to be. Every breath hurt. Every moment of consciousness was agony. Sleep became my only escape, but even that was fitful and filled with nightmares where I'd watch Mom collapse over and over, or where I'd reach for my phone to answer her call but my hands wouldn't work, or where I'd finally answer and hear her voice but then she'd disappear. 3 months after Mom died, I finally gathered the courage to listen to her voicemail. She'd left one, right after I declined her call. I'd been too afraid to play it, too terrified of what I might hear. What if her voice sounded scared? What if she was asking for help? What if I could hear the pain or fear or betrayal that she felt when I sent her to voicemail? I was sitting in her kitchen again, clutching my phone like a lifeline. The afternoon sun was streaming through the window, hitting the spot where her coffee maker used to sit. She'd always made coffee right after breakfast, filling the house with that rich, comforting smell. With shaking fingers, I pressed play. "Hi, sweetie, it's Mom." Her voice, warm and familiar and so alive, hit me like a physical blow. I gasped, doubling over as if I'd been punched in the stomach. "I know you're busy, and I don't want to bother you at work, but I just wanted to hear your voice for a minute. I've been thinking about you all morning." There was a pause, and I could hear her moving around her kitchen. I could picture her exactly, standing by the counter, maybe folding dish towels or wiping down the counters, her phone tucked between her shoulder and her ear. "Remember when you were little and you used to make me coffee with hot chocolate and way too much sugar?" She laughed, that beautiful, musical laugh I'd never hear in person again. "You were so proud of yourself, bringing it to me in bed on Sunday mornings. You'd spill half of it on the way, but you'd have this huge smile on your face. You must have been about 6 or 7. Another pause. I could hear the smile in her voice. "Anyway, I found the old mug you used in the back of the cabinet this morning. The blue one with the chipped handle. Made me smile. Made me miss those days when you were little and thought I was the most important person in the world." Her voice softened. "You're all grown up now, with your important job and your busy life, and I'm so proud of you, Alicia. So incredibly proud. But sometimes I miss my little girl who made me terrible coffee and thought I hung the moon." I was sobbing now, my whole body shaking. "I love you, darling. So much. More than you'll ever know. Call me when you can, okay? No rush. I know you're swamped. But when you get a chance, I'd love to chat. Maybe we can have lunch this weekend? My treat. I miss your face." There was a slight pause, And then, okay, I'll let you get back to work. Love you, baby girl. Bye bye. The message ended. I played it 17 times that day. Memorized every word, every pause, every breath, every inflection. It was a gift and a curse, having her voice preserved forever in digital form, but knowing she'd never say my name again, never leave me another voicemail, never call me baby girl in that soft, loving way that made me feel cherished no matter how old I got. She hadn't sounded scared. She hadn't sounded sick. She'd sounded like mom, warm and loving and just wanting to connect with her daughter. And somehow, that made it worse. Because if she'd sounded desperate or frightened, I could at least tell myself that nothing would have been different if I'd answered. But she'd just wanted to talk. She'd just wanted to hear my voice. She just wanted a few minutes of connection with me. And I'd denied her that. I'd sent her to voicemail for an email that I couldn't even remember now, 3 months later. An email that had seemed so urgent, so important, so critical in that moment but was now completely forgotten, buried under hundreds of other emails that all seemed urgent and important and critical at the time. As the months turned into a year, something strange began to happen. The guilt didn't disappear, I don't think it ever will, but it started to transform into something else. Something purposeful. I began volunteering at a local hospice center, the same one where my Aunt Margaret had spent her final days a decade ago. Every Tuesday, the day Mom died, the day I'd carry with me forever, I'd sit with patients who didn't have family nearby or whose families couldn't visit frequently. I'd hold their hands, listen to their stories, make sure they didn't spend their final days alone and forgotten. There was something healing about being present for other people's endings, about making sure that strangers had someone to sit with them in their final moments. It didn't erase my guilt about Mom, but it felt like a way to honor her, to do for others what I wished I'd done for her, be present, be available, be there when it mattered most. One Tuesday, I was sitting with an elderly man named Frank. He'd been asking for his daughter for days, repeating her name over and over, Emily, where's Emily? But she lived across the country in Seattle and had a demanding job at a tech company and 3 young children. She'd visited once when he was first admitted, had stayed for a few hours, and then had to fly back to her life. Frank was fading fast, drifting in and out of consciousness. The nurses said it would be hours now, maybe a day at most. His breathing was labored, his skin had taken on that gray pallor that meant the end was near. During a moment of clarity, his eyes opened and focused on me. "You're not Emily," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "No," I said gently, squeezing his hand. "I'm Alicia. I'm here to sit with you." "Emily's too busy," he said, and the resignation in his voice broke my heart. "Always too busy. Important job. Important meetings. Can't take time off to sit with her dying father." I thought of my own father, alone in Aunt Susan's house, and felt a fresh wave of guilt. "Call her," I urged Frank. "Let's call her right now. Tell her you love her." His eyes, cloudy with age and illness and medication, focused on me with surprising intensity. "She's at work," he whispered. "Doesn't want to be bothered with an old man's rambling. I'm just a burden now. Just an inconvenience." My heart shattered all over again. Because I could hear the hurt beneath his words, the feeling of being forgotten, of being less important than meetings and deadlines and all the things that seemed so critical until someone you love is dying. "She wants to hear from you," I said firmly, pulling out my phone. "Trust me, Frank. She does. She needs to hear your voice more than anything in the world, even if she doesn't realize it yet. Even if she's in a meeting. Even if she's busy. This is more important." I dialed the number he gave me, my hands shaking slightly. When his daughter answered, I could hear the stress in her voice. She was clearly at work, clearly in the middle of something, clearly not expecting or wanting an interruption. "Dad," she said, her voice tense. "Is everything okay? I'm actually in a meeting right now. Can I call you back in like 30 minutes? We're right in the middle of a presentation and..." Frank looked at me, defeated. I could see him preparing to make excuses, to apologize for bothering her, to let her go back to her meeting, to die alone rather than be an inconvenience to his own daughter. "No," I said, taking the phone from him before I could second-guess myself. "This is Alicia, a hospice volunteer. I'm here with your father. He's asking for you. He needs to talk to you right now. Not in 30 minutes. Not after your meeting. Not after your presentation. Right now." There was a pause. I could hear voices in the background, could imagine her in some conference room with her colleagues all staring at her. "Is he?" She couldn't finish the question. "Please," I said, my voice breaking despite my best efforts to stay professional. "Just talk to him. Please." Another pause. "Then, let me step outside." I heard a door close, and then Emily's voice came back, quieter now, stripped of its professional polish. "Dad? I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm here now." I handed the phone back to Frank, and his whole face transformed. The pain and resignation melted away, replaced by pure love and joy. They talked for 23 minutes, the exact amount of time it had taken me to drive to Mom's house that horrible Tuesday. I watched Frank's face light up as he told his daughter he loved her, that he was proud of her, that she'd made his life worth living. He told her about memories from her childhood, her first day of school, her graduation, her wedding. He told her she'd been the best daughter a father could ask for, that she'd brought him nothing but joy, that he didn't want her to feel guilty about being busy because he understood, he'd always understood. Emily cried. I could hear her through the phone, her professional composure completely shattered, sobbing as she told her father she loved him, that she was sorry she hadn't been there more, that she'd been taking him for granted, that she'd thought there would be more time. "There's always more time," Frank said, his voice growing weaker. "Until there isn't. But that's okay, sweetheart. We had a lifetime. We had all the important moments. I'm at peace." He died 4 hours later, but he died knowing his daughter loved him. Knowing he mattered. Knowing that even though she was busy and had an important job and a full life, she'd dropped everything when it really counted. Knowing she'd answered the call. After that day, something shifted inside me. The purposeless grief began to transform into something more, a mission, maybe, or a calling. I started reaching out to people, friends, family, even strangers on social media, with a simple message: call your loved ones. Don't wait. Don't assume there will be time later. Don't let the busyness of life make you miss the moments that actually matter. I shared my story publicly for the first time on Facebook, writing a long post about Mom, about the missed call, about the guilt and grief and regret. I included the journal entry. I included a recording of the voicemail. I laid my soul bare for everyone to see, not because I wanted sympathy, but because I wanted to prevent even one person from experiencing what I was experiencing. The response was overwhelming. Thousands of people shared the post. Tens of thousands left comments. My inbox filled with messages from people telling me they'd immediately called their parents, their siblings, their children, their estranged friends. Some discovered their loved ones were sick or struggling. Some just had beautiful conversations they'd been putting off for months or years. Some reconnected with people they hadn't spoken to in decades. And some, heartbreakingly, learned they'd waited too long. That the person they'd been meaning to call had already passed. That they'd missed their chance forever. One woman named Jennifer emailed me a week after I posted my story. She wrote, I'd been meaning to call my father for weeks. Every day I'd think about it, but I was always too tired after work, or the kids needed something, or I just wanted to veg out in front of the TV for an hour before bed. Your story made me pick up the phone immediately. I called him right from my office, in the middle of my workday, not even caring that my boss gave me a weird look. We talked for 45 minutes. She continued, during our conversation, I noticed he sounded different. Tired. His words were slightly slurred. I asked him if he was okay, and he admitted he'd been feeling strange for a few days but didn't want to worry anyone. I made him promise to go to the hospital immediately. He was reluctant, but I insisted. Turns out he'd had a minor stroke 2 days earlier and didn't even realize it. The doctors said if he'd waited another day or two without treatment, the next stroke would have been massive. Potentially fatal. Because of your story, because I made that call, my dad got medical attention in time. The doctors say the damage is minimal, that he'll make a full recovery. Her email ended with, "You saved my dad's life. Your mom would be so proud of you. Thank you for sharing your pain so that others might be spared from experiencing it. Thank you for turning your tragedy into something meaningful." I cried for an hour after reading that email. Because Jennifer's father got to live. Because she didn't have to carry the weight of a missed call. Because something good had come from my pain. It's been 3 years now since I lost Mom. 3 years since that missed call changed everything. The grief isn't as sharp as it once was. Time really does dull the edges of pain, even when you don't think it will, but it's always there, a dull ache that I've learned to carry with me everywhere I go. I still visit her grave every Tuesday without fail. The cemetery is peaceful, with old oak trees providing shade and birds singing in the branches. Her headstone is simple, just her name and dates and the phrase Dad and I chose together, beloved wife, mother, and friend. Forever in our hearts. I bring fresh flowers each week, usually sunflowers, which were her favorite, or tulips when they're in season. I sit on the grass beside her grave and tell her about my week. I tell her about the Last Call project, about the lives we're changing, about the families we're helping reconnect. Sometimes I play the voicemail, just to hear her voice, just to feel connected to her for a few minutes. Sometimes I just sit in silence, feeling the weight of her absence, missing her with an intensity that still takes my breath away. But I've also learned something important over these 3 years. Regret can either destroy you or drive you. It can be a prison that keeps you locked in the past, or it can be a catalyst for change that propels you toward a more meaningful future. I chose change. Last month, I quit my corporate job, the one that had seemed so important that Tuesday, the one I'd sacrificed so much for, the one that had ultimately cost me my last conversation with my mother. My boss was shocked. My colleagues were confused. "But you're up for a promotion," they said. "You're on the partner track. This is everything you've worked for." But it wasn't everything. It wasn't even close to what mattered. I used part of Mom's life insurance money to start a nonprofit organization called the Last Call Project. We work with hospices, hospitals, and senior centers to help facilitate meaningful conversations between people and their loved ones before it's too late. We provide resources for families dealing with terminal illness. We offer counseling for people struggling with grief and regret. We run campaigns encouraging people to put down their phones, ironically, and actually call the people they love. We've helped hundreds of families have the conversations that matter. We've recorded precious final messages from dying parents to their children. We've reunited estranged relatives who thought too much time had passed to reconcile. We've made sure that when people look back at their loved ones' final days, they don't have to live with the crushing regret that haunts me every single day. We even started a program where we pair volunteers with hospice patients who don't have family nearby. Every volunteer commits to being there at the end, to holding someone's hand, to making sure no one dies alone. It's the same program I participated in with Frank, now expanded to 10 different facilities across 3 states. The work is heartbreaking and beautiful and meaningful in ways my corporate job never was. Every day, I see the impact we're making. Every day, I help someone avoid the mistake I made. There's a phrase I keep coming back to, one that's become something of a mantra for the Last Call project: the last time is the last time, but we never know when that is. The last time Mom called me, I declined. The last time I could have heard her voice while she was alive, I chose a work email instead. The last time she reached out, wanting connection and love and just a few minutes of my time, I sent her to voicemail. I can't change that. I can't go back and answer that call. I can't tell her I love her one more time, can't hear her laugh one more time, can't hug her one more time, can't smell her perfume or feel her arms around me or see her smile. But maybe, just maybe, I can help someone else not make the same mistake. Maybe I can help someone else realize that the important email can wait, that the urgent meeting isn't as urgent as they think, that nothing, absolutely nothing, is more important than the people we love. A few weeks ago, I received a package in the mail. No return address. Inside was a letter and a small flash drive. The letter, written in careful handwriting on nice stationery, read, "Dear Alicia, you don't know me, but your story saved my relationship with my mother. My name is Michelle, and I hadn't spoken to my mom in 7 years. 7 years. We had a fight about something so stupid I can't even remember what it was now, something about my wedding, I think, some comment she made that I took the wrong way, and I was too proud and stubborn to reach out and apologize. She tried calling a few times in the first year, but I never answered. Eventually, she stopped trying." The letter continued, "Then I saw your post about your mom. About the missed call. About how you'd give anything to go back and answer. I sat at my desk and cried for an hour. Then I got in my car and drove 6 hours to my mother's house. I knocked on her door at 9 o'clock at night, and when she opened it and saw me standing there, we both just started crying. We didn't even speak at first, just held each other and cried. Then we talked. We talked all night, until the sun came up. We forgave each other. We let go of 7 years of hurt and pride and stubbornness." My hands were shaking as I continued reading. "We've talked every single day since then. Every single day. I call her on my lunch break, just like you used to call your mom. We talk about nothing important, the weather, what we're having for dinner, some article we read online. But it's everything. Those daily calls are everything." The letter's tone shifted then, became heavier. "Last week, my mother was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. The doctors say she has maybe 3 months, possibly 6 if she responds well to treatment. When the doctor told us, I thought my heart would stop. But then I looked at my mom, and you know what she said? She said, 'At least we had these past few months together. At least we didn't waste all the time we had left.'" I was crying now, tears streaming down my face as I read the final paragraph. "Because of you, Alicia, I'll have these 3 months. I won't have regrets. I won't have missed calls. I won't spend the rest of my life wishing I'd reached out sooner. I'll have every day, every conversation, every I love you that we have left. That's because of you. Because you shared your pain. Because you turned your tragedy into something that helped a stranger reconcile with her mother. Thank you doesn't feel like enough, but thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Your mother would be so proud of what you're doing. I know she would be." On the flash drive, I recorded a message for you from my mom, a mother's perspective on forgiveness and love. I hope it brings you peace. With eternal gratitude, Michelle. With shaking hands, I plugged the flash drive into my computer. A video began to play. An older woman, maybe in her early 70s, thin from illness but with kind brown eyes and a gentle smile, sat in a sunny kitchen at a small table. She was wearing a soft blue cardigan and a scarf on her head, probably to cover hair loss from chemotherapy. "Hello, Alicia," she said, her voice warm and maternal. "My name is Patricia. Michelle is my daughter, and you brought her back to me. You gave me the greatest gift I could have asked for, a chance to reconcile with my baby girl before it's too late. I want you to know something that I hope will help heal your heart, because Michelle told me about your story, and I can hear the pain in it." She paused, gathering her thoughts, her hands folded on the table in front of her. "I'm a mother. I have been for 48 years. And I want to tell you something that I know deep in my soul to be true. Mothers know their children are busy. We know you have lives and jobs and responsibilities and deadlines and stress. We know. And we also know, that you love us, even when you can't answer the phone. Even when you're too busy. Even when you miss a call. We know." Tears were already streaming down my face, but I couldn't stop watching. "Your mother called you that day not because she was desperate or afraid, but because she loved you. Because she wanted to hear your voice. Because being your mother was the joy of her life, and talking to you, even for 5 minutes, made her day brighter. That's all. There was no emergency. No crisis. Just love." Patricia leaned forward slightly, her eyes intense despite her obvious fatigue. "And in her last moments, I promise you, Alicia, she wasn't thinking about that missed call. She wasn't thinking, my daughter ignored me. She was thinking about every call you did answer. Every visit you made. Every hug you shared. Every I love you exchanged. Every moment of your entire life together. That's what mothers remember. That's what we hold on to. The lifetime of love, not the single missed connection." She smiled then, a sad but genuine smile that reminded me so much of my own mother. "Forgive yourself, sweetheart. Your mom already has. Love doesn't keep a record of missed calls. It keeps a record of a lifetime of connection. And from what Michelle tells me about your work, about the Last Call project, about how you're helping families reconnect, your mother is looking down on you with so much pride. So much love. She sees what you're doing. She knows you're honoring her. She knows." Patricia's voice softened even more. "I'm dying, Alicia. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer doesn't leave much room for hope. But I'm dying grateful, because I got my daughter back. Because your pain gave me one of the greatest gifts of my life, reconciliation with Michelle. Time I thought was lost forever. And I want you to know that your mother's legacy isn't that missed call. It's you. It's the work you're doing. It's every family you bring back together. That's her legacy. That's what she'd want you to remember." The video ended with Patricia blowing a kiss at the camera, just like Mom used to do. I've watched that video probably 100 times. I don't know if Patricia is still alive. The video was recorded 3 months ago, and stage 4 pancreatic cancer moves fast. But her words gave me something I didn't think was possible after 3 years of drowning in guilt, a glimpse of forgiveness. A window into the possibility that maybe, just maybe, I could learn to forgive myself. I still miss Mom every single day. The grief hasn't disappeared. I still wish I'd answered that call. I still carry the weight of that regret like a stone in my chest. But I'm also learning to carry the weight of all the calls I did answer. All the times I showed up. All the Sunday dinners we shared. All the birthday celebrations and holidays and ordinary Tuesday afternoons where we just sat together drinking coffee and talking about nothing important. All the ways I loved her while she was here. Because Patricia was right, love doesn't keep a record of the missed calls. It keeps a record of a lifetime. And my lifetime with Mom was filled with love. There's something else I found recently, tucked into the back of Mom's journal, in the pages after that last entry. It was a letter, written to me, dated 5 years ago, long before that terrible Tuesday. The envelope was sealed and had my name written across it in Mom's elegant handwriting, for Alicia, to be opened after I'm gone. My hands shook as I opened it, carefully tearing the envelope so I wouldn't damage whatever precious words were inside. The letter was written on Mom's favorite stationery, cream-colored paper with small flowers along the border. My dearest Alicia, if you're reading this, I'm gone. And knowing you the way I do, knowing your beautiful, sensitive, overthinking heart, you're probably drowning in guilt about something. You always were too hard on yourself, even as a little girl. Remember when you cried for a week because you forgot to water the class plant in 2nd grade and it died? You took everything so much to heart. I want you to know that whatever you're feeling guilty about, I forgive you. Not because there's anything to forgive, really, but because I know you need to hear it. I know you need permission to forgive yourself. Life is messy, baby girl. We miss calls. We forget to say things. We get too busy. We assume there will be more time. We take the people we love for granted sometimes. That's not a failure, that's being human. That's being alive and trying to juggle all the responsibilities and pressures and demands that life throws at us. What matters is this: you loved me. I felt it every single day. In every phone call, every visit, every eye roll when I embarrassed you in front of your friends, every hug, every "I love you too, Mom" that you said, sometimes with exasperation, but always with love beneath it. I felt loved by you from the moment you were born until the moment I take my last breath. So whatever you're beating yourself up about, stop. Right now. Because I'm at peace, and I want you to be too. I don't want my death to be the thing that defines the rest of your life. I want my life to be what you remember, the good parts, the love, the joy, the ordinary moments that make up a relationship between a mother and daughter. Live your life, Alicia. Really live it. Fall in love. Take chances. Make mistakes. Miss some calls, but answer others. Laugh until you cry. Cry when you need to. And know that wherever I am, I'm cheering you on, just like I always have. You were the greatest gift of my life. Being your mother was my greatest honor. Watching you grow into the incredible woman you are has been my proudest achievement. Nothing, and I mean nothing, could ever change that or diminish the love I have for you. I love you forever. Mom. P.S. And for heaven's sake, please throw away that hideous lamp in the living room. The one with the ceramic geese on the base. I know you always hated it. I only kept it because Aunt Susan gave it to us, but she'll never know. You have my blessing, no, my enthusiastic encouragement, to donate it immediately. Or accidentally drop it. Whatever brings you joy. Even through my tears, I laughed. That was so Mom, profound and heartfelt one moment, practical and funny the next. She had this ability to shift between deep wisdom and everyday humor in a way that made everything feel manageable, made life feel less heavy. I read that letter every single day now. It lives on my nightstand, right next to a photo of us from my college graduation. Her arm is around my shoulders, both of us laughing at something Dad said right before he took the picture. We're both making these ridiculous faces, caught mid-laugh, and it's one of my favorite photos because it captures us perfectly, two women who loved each other, who made each other laugh, who shared a bond that death couldn't break. If you're reading this story, or listening to it right now, please hear me when I say this. Answer the call. I don't care if you're busy. I don't care if you're stressed or tired or in the middle of something that seems important. I don't care if you're in a meeting or working on a deadline or dealing with your own problems. Answer the call. Because you never know when the last time will be the last time. Tell the people you love that you love them. Not tomorrow. Not when things calm down. Not when you have more time. Not when it's more convenient. Right now. Pick up the phone. Send the text. Make the visit. Have the conversation. Say the things that matter. Tell them you're proud of them. Tell them you miss them. Tell them they matter. Tell them you love them. Don't let "I'll do it later" turn into "I wish I had." Don't let a missed call become your deepest regret. Don't assume there will be another chance, another day, another opportunity. Because sometimes there isn't. Sometimes that call is the last call. Sometimes that moment is the last moment. Sometimes that Tuesday is the Tuesday that changes everything. Mom's been gone for 3 years, 2 months, and 17 days. I've answered every single call since then, from everyone, no matter what I'm doing. From dad, from friends, from family, from unknown numbers that might be scammers but might also be someone who needs help. Sometimes it's inconvenient. Sometimes it interrupts work or plans or sleep. Sometimes it's a telemarketer trying to sell me extended car warranties or a robocall about student loan forgiveness. But sometimes it's someone I love. Sometimes it's someone who needs to hear my voice. Sometimes it's someone who might not have tomorrow. Sometimes it's dad calling just to tell me he made mom's lasagna recipe and it actually turned out okay. Sometimes it's Sarah checking in because she knows Tuesdays are hard for me. Sometimes it's a volunteer from the Last Call project with a success story about a family they helped reconnect. And I will never, ever decline that call again. I love you, Mom. I'm sorry I didn't answer. I'm sorry you spent your last conscious moments wanting to talk to me and getting sent to voicemail instead. I'm sorry I prioritized work over you. I'm sorry I took you for granted. I'm sorry for every time I was too busy, too tired, too stressed to give you the time you deserved. But I promise, I'm living the life you wanted for me. I'm taking your love and spreading it to others. I'm making sure your legacy is one of connection, not regret. I'm helping other daughters answer their mother's calls. I'm helping other families not make the mistakes I made. And every Tuesday, without fail, I call Dad. Sometimes we talk for 5 minutes. Sometimes for an hour. Sometimes we cry together. Sometimes we laugh remembering stories about you. Sometimes we just sit on the phone in comfortable silence, both of us missing you but finding comfort in each other. It doesn't matter how long the calls last. What matters is that I answer. What matters is that I show up. Because that's what love does. It shows up. It picks up the phone. It says I'm here. It makes time. It prioritizes connection over convenience. And I'm finally learning that while I can't change the past, I can honor it by living differently in the present. That's what Mom would want. That's what she deserves. That's what we all deserve, to be connected, to be loved, to be remembered not for the one call we missed, but for the lifetime of moments we shared. But here's the twist, the part one haven't told anyone until now. The part that changed everything. 6 months ago, I received another package. This one was from a law firm I didn't recognize, Anderson, Martinez and Associates. Inside was a thick envelope with official-looking documents and a note on expensive letterhead. The note explained that Mom had set up a trust with specific instructions that weren't to be revealed until 3 years after her death. 3 years exactly. Which meant she'd planned this, had thought about it, had wanted me to have time to grieve before receiving whatever she'd left behind. Attached to the note was a flash drive labeled "For Alicia, Play Me." In Mom's handwriting. Seeing those familiar loops and curves, the way she always dotted her I's with little circles, made my heart clench. My hands shook as I plugged it in. And there she was, my mom, sitting in her favorite chair, the one by the window where afternoon light always made her look ethereal. She was wearing her blue sweater, the soft one I used to steal when I visited home. Her silver hair was pulled back in a loose bun. She looked healthy, vibrant, alive. This video was recent, maybe recorded just a week or two before she died. I could tell because of the calendar on the wall behind her showing April. "Hi, baby girl," she said, and hearing her call me that after 3 years of silence made me break down immediately. If you're watching this, 3 years have passed since I left you. And knowing you the way I do, knowing your tender heart and your tendency to blame yourself for everything, you're probably still carrying guilt about something. Maybe about a missed call, because I know you sometimes don't answer when you're swamped with work. Maybe about not visiting enough, even though you visited almost every week. Whatever it is, I need you to let it go now. She smiled that knowing mother's smile, the one that said she could see right through me, that she knew me better than I knew myself. I made this video because I wanted you to have time to grieve, to feel whatever you needed to feel, but not to stay stuck there forever. 3 years felt like the right amount of time. Time to work through the initial shock and pain, but not so much time that you'd be completely lost in guilt. I was sobbing now, watching her move and talk, so alive on the screen, knowing that this was recorded when she was about to die, that she knew she might not have much time left, that she'd use that precious time to make sure I would be okay. I also set up a trust fund, not a huge one, but enough. The lawyer has instructions to release it to you with this message. I want you to use it to do something meaningful. Something that helps people. Something that comes from love, not guilt. I trust you to know what that is. She leaned forward, her eyes intense with love and concern, as if she could reach through the screen and hold me. Alicia, listen to me. You were the best daughter anyone could ask for. Not perfect, none of us are perfect, but you loved me so well. You showed up. You called. You visited. You made me laugh. You took care of me when I was sick. You celebrated with me when things were good. You were patient with me when I was annoying. You answered more calls than you missed. You showed up more times than you were absent. You loved me perfectly, even in your imperfection. That's what being human is. That's what love is. She paused, and I could see tears forming in her eyes now too. And sweetheart? That last day, when you didn't answer my call? I wasn't calling to tell you I was sick. I didn't even know yet. I just felt a little off, a little heavy in my chest, but I thought it was indigestion or stress. I wasn't calling for help. I wasn't calling because I was scared or needed something urgently. My heart was pounding. What was she about to tell me? I was calling to tell you that I'd just booked a surprise trip for us. 2 weeks in Italy, just you and me, for your birthday next month. I'd been planning it for months, saving up, researching the best places to visit. I was so excited I couldn't wait to tell you. I wanted to hear the excitement in your voice when I told you about the cooking class in Tuscany I'd booked, about the little villa we were going to stay in, about all the adventures we were going to have together. My entire body went cold and then hot, waves of emotion crashing over me. But it's okay that you didn't answer, baby. Because we had a lifetime of answered calls. A lifetime of adventures. A lifetime of being mother and daughter. A lifetime of love. One missed call doesn't erase 35 years of showing up for each other. She wiped her tears with the back of her hand, smiling through them. I want you to take that trust money and do something beautiful with it. Help other people. Connect families. Spread love. That's what would make me happy. Not you staying stuck in guilt and regret, but you moving forward and making a difference in the world. Mom stood up then, and I realized this was the end of the video. The end of her final message to me. Now go live, baby. Really live. Make me proud, though you already do, every single day. I'll be watching, and I'll be cheering you on, just like always. I love you more than all the stars in the sky, more than all the grains of sand on all the beaches, more than words could ever express. She walked closer to the camera, her face filling the screen. You were my greatest joy, Alicia. Being your mother was the honor of my lifetime. Thank you for loving me so well. Thank you for being you. Thank you for everything. The video ended with her blowing a kiss at the camera, exactly the way she'd done 1,000 times before when we'd video chat. And then she was gone. Again. I sat there for I don't know how long, staring at the black screen, trying to process what I'd just learned. She'd been calling to tell me about a surprise trip. About Italy. About cooking classes and villas and adventures we'd never get to have. She'd been calling because she was excited and happy and wanted to share that joy with me. She hadn't been dying when she called. She'd been planning our future. And somehow, that made it both better and worse. Better because it meant her last moments weren't filled with fear or pain or feeling ignored. Worse because it meant we'd lost not just that day, but all the days that were supposed to come after, 2 weeks in Italy that would have created memories to last a lifetime. But as I sat there, Patricia's words from her video came back to me. Love doesn't keep a record of missed calls. It keeps a record of a lifetime of connection. And I realized something. Mom had given me this video 3 years later on purpose. She'd wanted me to grieve. She'd wanted me to feel. But she hadn't wanted me to stay stuck there forever. She'd wanted me to live. That trust fund became the Last Call project. Mom funded it. Mom inspired it. Mom lives on through it every single day. And that surprise trip to Italy? 6 months ago, I took Dad. We scattered some of her ashes in Rome, at the Trevi Fountain, because she'd always dreamed of going there. We threw coins in and made wishes. Dad wished that she was at peace. I wished that she knew how much I loved her, how much I missed her, how sorry I was. But mostly, I wished that she was proud of what I was doing with my life now. We took the cooking class she'd booked. The instructor had saved our reservation for 3 years, and when I explained why we were so late, she cried with us. We made fresh pasta from scratch, just like Mom used to make. We laughed and cried and remembered. And we talked. Dad and I really talked for the first time since Mom died. We shared our grief, our memories, our regrets, our love for her. We cried together overlooking the Tuscan hills, holding each other the way we should have been holding each other for the past 3 years. And we answered every single call that came through on that trip, even the ones from telemarketers, even the ones that interrupted dinner or sleep or peaceful moments, because that's what you do when you understand how precious connection is. So here's what I want you to take from my story, from my pain, from my journey through guilt and grief to something that resembles peace. You will miss calls. You will be too busy sometimes. You will put work first occasionally. You will have moments where you prioritize the wrong things. You will have regrets. That's part of being human. That's part of living in a complex world with competing demands on your time and energy and attention. But don't let those regrets define your story. Let them refine your priorities. Answer the next call. Make the next visit. Say the next I love you. Make the next moment count. Because life is happening right now, in this moment, in this breath, in this heartbeat. And we don't get to go back. We don't get do-overs. We don't get to rewind and make different choices. But we do get to move forward. We do get to learn from our mistakes. We do get to choose, every single day, to connect, to love, to show up, to be present. That's what Mom taught me, even in her death. That's what I'm teaching others through the Last Call project. And that's what I hope you'll take with you when you finish listening to this story and go back to your regular life. Answer the call. Make the visit. Send the text. Say the words that matter. It might just be the most important thing you ever do. Last week, we helped facilitate a conversation between a mother and daughter who hadn't spoken in 15 years. 15 years of silence over an argument neither could fully remember anymore. The mother is 93 and in failing health. The daughter is 68 and running out of time to make things right. They talked for 3 hours. They cried. They forgave. They said all the things that had been left unsaid for a decade and a half. The daughter called me afterward, her voice thick with emotion. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for giving me my mother back. Thank you for helping me not live with the regret you carry." And I realized something in that moment. Maybe this is Mom's gift to me. Maybe she gave me this regret, this pain, this guilt, so that I could help others avoid it. Maybe my one missed call could prevent thousands of other missed calls. Maybe my loss could prevent others from experiencing the same loss. Maybe that's the meaning I've been searching for in all this pain. I love you, Mom. Thank you for the lifetime of answered calls. Thank you for the surprise trip we never took but that brought Dad and me closer together. Thank you for planning 3 years ahead to make sure I wouldn't stay stuck in grief forever. Thank you for teaching me that love is stronger than regret, that connection is more important than perfection, that showing up, even imperfectly, is what matters most. Thank you for being my mom. Thank you for loving me unconditionally. Thank you for forgiving me even before there was anything to forgive. Until we meet again, I'll keep answering the calls. I'll keep showing up. I'll keep spreading your love and your legacy. Rest in peace, Mama. I'll make you proud. Your daughter, Alicia. So now I want to hear from you. When was the last time you called someone you love just to tell them you care? When was the last time you let a call go to voicemail that you wish you'd answered? Or maybe you have your own story of regret or redemption, something that changed how you see time and connection. Maybe you've lost someone and carry your own guilt. Maybe you've reconnected with someone just in time. Maybe you're putting off that call right now, thinking you'll make it tomorrow. Please share your story in the comments below. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Your story could inspire someone to pick up the phone right now and reconnect with someone they've been taking for granted. Your experience could save someone from a lifetime of regret. And if this story touched your heart, if it made you think about the people you love and the time you have left with them, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Because every week, I share more real stories about love, loss, healing, and hope. Stories that remind us we're all human, we're all struggling with the same fears and regrets, and we're all deserving of grace and forgiveness and second chances. Don't miss the next story. Someone's life might be changed by it. Maybe even yours. And most importantly, go make that call. Right now. Don't wait until it's convenient. Don't wait until you have more time. Don't wait until you finish this video or until you're done with work or until tomorrow. Call them now. Tell them you love them. Tell them they matter. Tell them you're grateful for them. Because you never know when the last time will be the last time. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for being here. Thank you for caring about connection and love and the things that truly matter in this short, precious life we're given. Until next time, remember, answer the call. It might just be the most important decision you ever make.